We are now at lesson 18C. In the next preview assignment, you will need to perform several simulations on a spreadsheet. And I want to note simulations for growing populations of M&Ms. Spreadsheet simulations reproducing M&Ms and dice. So suppose you have 5 M&Ms to start with in your collection. On one side of each M&M, there is a printed letter M. If you roll all 5 M&Ms on a table, some will land with the M side facing up and some will land with the blank side facing up. Every time you roll the M&Ms in your collection, you count the number of M&Ms with the M side facing up, and you add 1 M&M to your collection for each M side. Got it? If you're not sure, go back and reread this, because it says then we're going to roll again and continue until our collection of M&Ms is larger than 300. Whew. So make sure you're kind of understanding that or fully understanding that, and then go ahead and answer parts A, B, and C. Once you've answered those 3, then come back and we'll walk through them together. Part A says if you start with 5 M&Ms and you roll 3 with M side up, how many do we have in our collection to roll the next time? Well, if we had 5 to begin with and 3 of them have M side up, we now have 8 in our collection. So Part B says in your next roll, you get 5 M sides, 5 with the M showing. How many do we have in our collection now to roll next time? Well, we had 8, and of those 8, 5 have the M showing, so we now have 13 to roll the next time, which leads us to Part C. In your next roll, you get 7 M sides. We started with 13, we have 7 M sides, and we now are at 20. The following is a screenshot of roll 1 of the simulation in tab M&M_1 in the preview assignment. The yellow box contains the size of your collection as of your most recent roll, and after you roll, the blue box contains the number of M sides you got on the last roll. Note that you keep track of the size of your collection in 2 places. 2. On the left side, you're going to put in the size of your collection after each roll as a running total. And when you use the Excel file in the preview assignment, each entry will be graphed. You also have to update the size of your collection in the yellow box, then press roll for the next roll. And just a note, there is text in the spreadsheet explaining this process in case you need to remember. So let's go look at that screenshot. So now that I have the screenshot up there, let me reread all the stuff that I just read, where it says the following is a screenshot of roll 1 of the simulation in tab the M&M_1 in the preview assignment. The yellow box contains the size of your collection as of your most recent roll. After you roll, the blue box contains the number of M sides that you got on the last roll. And you're going to have to keep track of the size of your collection in 2 places. On the left, you put in the size of your collection after each roll as a running total. When you use the Excel file in the preview assignment, each entry will be graphed. You also have to update the size of your collection in the yellow box, and then press roll again, or for the next roll. And so you are looking at now questions or parts A and B. So what I need you to do is to hit pause and to go ahead and get an answer for parts A and B, and we're working on question 2. And then after you get an answer for those, then come back and we'll walk through these 2 together. So part A says, according to this crazy process we just described, what new number should you record in cell B10? So right here, what are we going to put in B10? If this was your original roll, and these are the number of M's that are showing, we'll do just what we've been practicing and put 3 right there. I'm going to get rid of that dot because it's not a -3. Oh, and I got a lot of stuff. There it went. And so it's going to be the 2 plus the 1, so we would put 3. Then part B says, according to this process, what number of M&Ms should you now enter into the yellow box for the new roll? Well, that 3. Then we're going to press roll, and we'll get a brand new number in our box, in our blue box. We'll add this number to this number, write it over here, and then keep putting them in, and et cetera, et cetera. So then we move on to question number 3. What I'd like you to do is to go ahead and work on question 3, parts A and B, and then come back and let's work on those together. So now let's look at the answers you got on question number 3. Part A says, according to this process, what number should you record in cell B15 right here? And how did you determine this value? So the how and the what, you take your number in your collection, the number that you rolled that are the M side up, and we're going to add those together. That is a plus. So the number that we would put there is 23, and here's the Y. Part B, according to this process, what number should you enter in the yellow box for the next step of this simulation? Well, we're going to put our 23, hit roll, and it will generate a new number in our M side up box. Again, we're still looking at this spreadsheet that you're going to encounter in your preview and in your in-class lesson. We're going to do something different. Once the size of your collection is larger than 300, you're going to do something different. Continue to roll your M&Ms, but now remove those with the M sides facing up. We're going to keep a running total by adding the M sides, but we're going to be subtracting in one place and adding in another. The following table shows where we left off in question 1. So if you go to question 1, we had a 20 and the number of M&Ms in our collection were 20. Well, then the next roll, we get an 11. So we are going to add it here. So 20 plus the 11, we get 31. But the 11 is going to be subtracting from our total number of M&Ms, or the number of M&Ms in the collection. So 20 minus 11 puts us at 9. From the 9, we end up with 6 with M sides, and we're going to add the 6 to the 31 and get 37. But from our collection, we're going to subtract the 6, and we're down to 3. From the 3, when we roll, we have 1 that is showing it's M. So we add it here, and we end up with 38, but we subtract it from our collection and end up with 2. Again, remember, if this is not making sense, you can go back to the beginning of the lesson or back to just the parts that you want to hear. But this is a great opportunity to keep rewinding and listening to what I'm saying, what's being said, give you a chance to reread it and to rethink on it and make sure it's very, very clear before you go on to the next question, which is number 5. So go ahead and look at question number 5. Even part, or question number 6, parts A and B, but at least go look at question 5 and then come back and we'll do it together. Now that you've had a chance to look at question 5 and write down an answer, it says, the second process is going to be performed in the tab M&M_2 from the spreadsheet in the preview assignment. The following is a screenshot. Suppose someone's simulation reached 391 on roll 13 in the M&M_1 tab, and that would be right here. Roll 13 reached 391. We now begin M&M_2 tab simulation with roll 14. It is asking us at the bottom of this question, it's not asking us right there. So I'll read that it asks, according to question number 4, what we just practiced, what numbers should we enter in the yellow box? What's going to be entered right here To begin your M&M2_2 simulation with roll 14, we're going to enter 391. So now this is the last question in this lesson. Make sure you've hit pause and that you do question 6, parts A and B. Fill in what you believe to be correct answers, and then come back and let's work through this together. On question 6, it says the following is a screenshot of someone's roll 15 after they have clicked the roll button. So this is the screenshot after roll 15. Question A says, according to the process we just looked at in question 4, what should you record for the running total in cell B, whoops, not a good line there, B24. And then how did you determine this value? So let me talk through how we determine it and then see what number we end up with. So we have a final number of, in B23, we had 589. That's why we put it there. That's where we started. And it says we're going to add it to that total. Adding it to that total, I get 878. So that is what I add to that total. That's part A, 878. So we added the number that we rolled, that we entered, and then we added the number of M sides. Remember, this is the one where we, whoops, hang on, where we add the M sides, and we got 878. Now the question on part B says, according to the process described in question 4, what number should you enter in the yellow box now? Now we're going to have to put something in the yellow box. Lost my place. For the number of M&Ms to roll in roll 16, and how did you determine this value? So although we added over in this area, in the other area, we're not going to add, we're going to subtract. We're going to take our 589, we're going to subtract off our 289, and that's the number we're going to start with in our yellow box. And the description is there were 589 M&Ms in the collection for the roll, and I need to remove the 289 that had M sides up. And wow, that finishes this lesson. And thank goodness you're looking at this before you do the preview and before you do the in-class parts. So this finishes lesson 18C. Go look at your syllabus, see what's next, and I'll talk to you later, probably on video.